Okay, this video is going to just take a look at how to make a valid will in Ireland. What are the requirements for a valid will? Firstly, what is a will? Well, a will is a formal document which sets out how a person called the testator or testatrix, that's a man or a woman, wishes to dispose of his or her property on death. A person may make as many wills as he wishes, but the only relevant one is the last valid will made before death. And it is recommended that you make more than one will during your lifetime as your circumstances change, perhaps as children are born, or as you acquire property or dispose of property, or as your circumstances change generally, either in your family or in your financial circumstances. For a will to be valid in Ireland, the testator must have attained the age of 18 or is or has been married. So if you were 17 and were married, you could make a valid will. And the person must also be of sound disposing mind. In other words, they must know what it is they're doing, and essentially that means that they know that it's an instrument or a document that's going to give away or decide how their property is to be dispersed on their death and who is going to benefit. The requirements then for a valid will: number one, the will must be in writing. Secondly, the person making the will must sign in the presence of 2 or more witnesses. So you need at least 2 witnesses to the will, to the execution or signing of the will. That doesn't mean that the witnesses would know what's in the will. They simply need to witness the testator signing the will. The witnesses then, they must attest their signature, by their signatures, the signature of the testator in the presence of the testator. So they must put their name and their address and their occupation on the will, just to say that or prove that they witnessed the testator signing the will. And the signature then of the testator must be found at the foot or the end of the will. There are 10 basic elements to a will. Firstly, let's say it's your will, your name and address. You will also need a revocation clause, in other words, a clause revoking all previous wills. You will need, obviously, to appoint executors of your estate once you pass away. Then you decide how you're going to disperse your property and your money and your goods. So you'll have a list of legacies and a list of devises. Devises is what you do or are in relation to real estate or real property. Legacies, on the other hand, would be gifts of money or goods or perhaps jewellery or your motor car or something. You will also need a residuary clause disposing of the remainder of the estate and dealing with all eventualities. So, you know, after giving away your jewellery and your car and your golf clubs, and after giving away your house and, you know, 20-acre field down the road or whatever, then whatever is left, that's contained in and dealt with in the residuary clause. The will also must contain a date and the testator's signature, your signature. Then your witnesses will sign, obviously your 2 witnesses, and there would be a signing clause. If you have young children then or dependents, you may need to make special provision. You do need to speak to a solicitor in this instance. For example, if you have young children, you may need to create a trust, and you may want to appoint guardians, and you may want to appoint trustees, for example. So if you have young children or dependents, perhaps a loved one with a special need, then you do need to speak to a solicitor to make sure that you are making adequate provision for them. My name is Gorry. I'm a solicitor in Enfield and County Meath. My contact details are on the screen there. Feel free to contact me. Thanks for watching.